Okay, so today I'll be talking about the digital transformation journey we are going through. So when you hear the 2CS, what does it really mean? Like second century systems for Boeing. Okay. And in addition to that, I'm going to focus on one of the specific initiatives we are launching that's called Global Data Access. As its name implies, it's about access control and data security. And I will position GDA in the industry's security developments as well as the specific utilizations around the Marklogic capability. So second century, as you know, we are 103-year-old company now, and second century means positioning our company in a second 100 year in the industry effectively to be more successful. So 2CS, second century, is the keywords that we are constantly using to refer to our future systems and strategic developments around this area. And there are different areas that we are focusing on for the second century. One of them is process improvements. So we want to enhance and simplify our processes because, as you know, in structured companies and over 100-year-old companies, you always have many processes, and especially in the industry that we are running in, those processes needs to run much more effectively than it is. So we are targeting simplifying our processes, making it more efficient so we can move to the market much faster. Another area we are looking at is the data management. So we have plenty of data available to us, but we need to unify it, making sure that we can utilize it effectively to utilize it for decision making. And then technology enablement. We are looking at latest and greatest technologies to modernize our capabilities, modernize our products to be able to successful in industry. So these are some of the key capabilities that we have. I'm sure you're familiar with the terminology, but ERP is basically enterprise resource planning systems that focus on the supply chain and finance area. And we are utilizing SAP's S/4HANA capability in that area. 2CHR basically means second century human resources capabilities. It's focusing on the HR capabilities specifically. PLM is product lifecycle management. It's on the planning, focused on the planning area, as well as the manufacturing operation management. It's referred as MOM or EMOM. It's targeting our manufacturing and operation systems. All of these systems, basically, we have technology enablement around, as I mentioned, SAP S/4HANA for ERP, Workday for 2CHR, the SOS systems for PLM and MOM. We have products like 3D Experience and Aprizo. And our end goal is utilizing these technologies and enabling our business effectively to get away from the silo approach, but allowing our data travel from one system to another seamlessly. So these are basically our programs that supports the 2CS solutions: business architecture, strategic or IT architecture, foundational services, and innovation pilots. So as its name implies, business architecture focusing on the business side, meaning how processes put together, how data aligns together. So they are paying attention to that area in addition to the business value. And our strategic architecture is more on the technical side, technology enablement piece. So it's backing the business architecture to deliver solutions. And we have our foundational services from all levels of operations, in addition to the data backbone of the Boeing supporting all these capabilities. Our innovation pilots always looking at the latest and greatest technologies in the industry. It's not just for 2CS, but looking at overall company and analyzing the technologies in the industry to bring them to our best fit for solutions we have. So going back to one of the initiatives for the 2CS system, that is the global data access, how it is originated and why we are even doing that, right? One of the common problems we have with data is an industry-wide problem is we always say like either we have too much data, we have too less data, or we can access the data. So this is one of the areas we identify to say like if we want this data travel system to system without any interruptions, we need to make sure the access is addressed. We can authenticate authorized users without any hiccup in the process, so they won't have to wait weeks-long approval process to access the data. And in addition to that, we have our global presence. Like, we are not just US-based company, we have businesses all over the world, and our operators, suppliers, employees, technology centers that needs to be supported and enabled with the data. And in order to give them that data, we need to have dynamic way of providing authorization. If you look at the industry, it starts with identity-based access control. So basically, identity-based access control means like we check your identity, and based on that, we give you authorization to access the data. So this is pretty old school way of doing business. And later on, that was, I would say, 25 years ago, we started with the role-based access control. It's not a recent technology. It's been in the industry for a long time, and it is very well implemented with many examples. So basically, it means like in addition to look into your identity, we are going to look into your role in the company for the application, and then give you authorization based on that. And the latest and greatest in that area is attribute-based access control, meaning like dynamically, we are going to provide authorization access to you. It's not just about your identity, not just about your role, but we are going to look into many other attributes to make a decision. So that can be like, give me the context, like when are you trying to access this data? Maybe you're authorized to work Monday through Friday, certain business hours, but you're asking for authorization on a Sunday midnight. Or maybe the volume of the authorization request coming from your account. Humanly possible is 1 second per authorization request. Maybe you're sending me 1 million requests per second, so that's not humanly possible to do so. So dynamically evaluating these type of analysis and providing access based on the various sides of the attributes that attach to data is all about the attribute-based access control. And for that reason, we are utilizing attribute-based access control for the Global Data Access Initiative that we have launched at the end of 2017. So if we look at the high-level architecture, this is not a new invention. Again, it's been in the industry for a while, and it is getting adapted much more for the last 5 to 10 years, I would say. Policy enforcement point, some of the keywords in there, like if you look at the second word, enforcement, decision, information, retrieval, administration, that basically highlights the capabilities, core capability component. So in a typical flow, user requests access to data. The first interception happens with the policy enforcement point. It captures the request to say, well, user made some action in the system, and in order for me to complete that action, I need to be able to make a decision. Should I grant the access or should I deny the access to that data? An enforcement point cannot make that decision on its own. It's utilizing a component called policy decision point. That's the brain of the operation, the decision engine. And decision engine utilizes 2 components. One of them is the information point. That's where all the metadata is housed. And another point is the policy retrieval point, where all of the access control policies are collected. So decision point looks into available policies, available metadata, and makes a decision and returns that decision to enforcement point to say, yes, grant access or deny access. So this is a pretty simplistic approach of the dynamic, of course. We have a policy administration point outside of the application, and it allows all of our SMEs to generate enterprise-level access control policies. So global trade control, looking into the export sensitivity area, global privacy office, looking into the personally identifiable information, PII flavors, information protection management, IPM looks into the sensitivity of the data. So all of this SMEs and look into generating enterprise-level access control policies through the PAP, Policy Administration Point capability. So in addition to that, there may be some application-specific policies as well. Application SMEs would utilize the same capability to create their own policies as well. So in this dynamic, policy administration point feeds the policies to the retrieval point to be available and distributed to thousands of applications in the company. And of course, in addition to that, we have one additional component due to compliance that we had to create, that's the logging capability. So every time a decision is made by the PDP, policy decision point, we have to log that. So in order to be successful with the global data access, some of the key areas that we're investing in is, one of them is externalizing decision-making. So if you have thousands of applications in your company that you need to maintain, and you need to elevate your security or make a change, it has to be adaptable. So you need to be able to make that change quickly. But if you're updating 2,000 plus applications one by one, that's not going to be quick. So in order to avoid this situation, we want to pull the decision, access control decision-making outside of the application, so applications can call an external system to say, tell me what to do. And our system will answer, respond quickly, and if we need to make a change, we can make that change in one single system that can distribute decisions to others. Centralizing security policies, that was another requirement for us because we don't want individuals' policies housed in thousands of applications. It's very redundant. Some of the policies are repeating itself. And we identify those patterns to move some of the policies as enterprise level so it can be updated faster, it can be distributed through the same channel. Standardizing policies to use a common language. So that is another requirement for us so we can make sure that integration and utilizing those policies can happen faster. And integration is another heart of the operation for us too, because we don't want to end up with silo approaches that cannot talk to each other. So integration and being adaptable, being flexible in our architecture is very critical. So how are we utilizing Marklogic capabilities within the 2CS solutions? Global data access is one of the areas that we are using, and for that, we are housing our metadata, policy information point, as well as the policy retrieval point in Marklogic. So that allows us to identify our policies faster, search them faster, create our knowledge graph, identify the trends, like which policy is executed more often than other, which policy never gets to be executed, why is this happening, or master data management, as well as mapping the policy to attributes to understand the trends and relationships in the background. All right, and any questions? Right, so we have another actually, this is just one of the utilization examples, right? We have other examples too. Another area is unified information model where we are using Marklogic capability, but we have model-based system engineering SMEs coming in to explain you another use case for us.